Welcome to the Real Estate 401k Show. Here are your hosts, Ryan Gerdes, Mike Weinstein, and Justin Frederick, helping you build a legacy of wealth through real estate. Powered by the Recon Group at West USA and the Frederick team with Fairway Mortgage. NMLS number 625918.
This is the Real Estate 401k Show with your hosts. I'm Mike Weinstein alongside Justin Frederick, our resident mortgage expert and the eye candy of the podcast, my partner, Ryan Gerdes.
You're welcome.
You came out hot there. I like that one. And here we go. We're talking about it again.
That's why I always...
They're only getting better and better.
Yeah.
Every time my wife and I meet somebody, I always introduce myself because my wife, my wife, very successful and beautiful. And I always just introduce myself as the trophy husband because I got nothing.
I love that you lead with that.
All right. Well, anyways, I was thinking about this over the weekend. I mean, here in the great state of Arizona, and the numbers change all the time depending on who you talk with. But I think we have anywhere between 85,000 to 92,000 real estate agents, licensed agents. I don't know what percentage of them are active and what percentage of them represent Maricopa County, but there's a ton of us. And and there's a lot of agents that are part-time, a lot of agents that do this as a hobby. A lot of buyers and sellers get themselves into trouble because they're working with someone who's inexperienced. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, we all started at one point in our careers and knew nothing, but we had the support behind us. And so I wanted to kind of walk through this process with you guys. Justin, we'll get to you on the lending side, but Ryan, obviously we are on the real estate acquisition and sales side. So Ryan, I've been in this business for 20 plus years, and it boggles my mind to this day. I've never had anyone ask me how long have I had my license, how many real estate transactions have I been part of. I think they just take our title, whether it's realtor, real estate agent, and of course we like to refer to ourselves as real estate wealth managers. I think they just take that as face value and assume we know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And it's not often the case. What are some of the questions that consumers should be, because they're not interviewing their agents?
Well, I've gotten those questions before, and I think that they're kind of...
Well, I probably look a little more, look smarter than you then.
For sure. I'm the eye candy.
You look
the eye candy.
Yeah,
we have low expectations of the eye candy.
This guy's so good looking, he probably doesn't know shit. So no, occasionally I'll get some questions like that, and I think that it is important for people to realize that you do have an option. But I think really what the culture is everybody usually gets in front of a real estate professional through a referral. And so a lot of times they figure, okay, well, my best friend had a great experience with this agent over here, and so I don't even need to really interview them because they had such a good experience. And
Can I contend you on that for a second? I would disagree with that statement because a lot of people are finding their agents at open houses, finding their agents through like Zillow and Realtor.com, and so in those situations, I don't think they're asking the right questions.
I do know that exists, and we of course run into plenty of clients that way. But the majority of the clients that I work with, mm-hmm. they're referrals or they're repeat business, and so we've kind of a lot of that interviewing process has kind of been front loaded. But for those ones that maybe you've clicked on, Realtor.com and got introduced to somebody, or you ran into somebody over at an open house, I think that you're doing a huge disservice just by thinking that all they're doing is just selling a home. They're really selling a service, and so they need to be service oriented types of questions. Okay, that's where you're going to realize whether or not you gel well with somebody or not. I'm not for everybody, and I don't pretend to be. I'm not interested in the fluffiness of the industry. I'm interested in numbers, and the people that gel best with me are people that are focused on making decisions with their brain and not with their hearts. And so I make that very, very clear up front. So the types of questions that I feel like are ones that are going to be best suited for the people that I can work with are ones that are wanting to create investment models, mm-hmm. right? And so we are going to discuss what how risk adverse you are. That's how we're going to start, because that's going to determine what type of model we have and how fast or how slow you're going to want to make a move, and then furthermore, what type of property is going to be best for your real estate portfolio. So those types of questions are going to be the ones that my clients are asking all the time, not just of me, but of every single investment scenario. If you're really interested in somebody that's going to, show up in a fancy car and things like that, and I know I'm kind of being condescending and whatnot about it, but there's a lot of people out there that say, well, if you're not driving a nice car or if you don't have on a $5,000 suit, then you don't emanate success. And so therefore I don't want to work with you. And if that's the way that you transact, then that's fine. But make sure that you're just being real with yourself about what your expectations are out of the situation.
All right, if you're looking to learn more about our pedigree and our experience level in the services that we provide our clients, all you got to do is text the word agent to 623-AZ-RECON. That's agent to 623-AZ-RECON. I think for me, and I agree with you on the investment side, when I do talk with people who are investors and looking to build wealth, it's not uncommon for them to ask me about my real estate portfolio. And I welcome those questions, and you should. If you're going to have somebody who is helping you strategize in building your real estate portfolio, you want to work with somebody who's got a real estate portfolio and experience. But on the flip side, on normal buyers and sellers, I think the number one question I think a consumer should ask an agent that they're interviewing, and you have to keep in mind, you want to interview this agent, is number one, are you part-time, full-time? Because there are a lot of agents. A part-time agent is not going to put on their business card, I'm part-time. you know?
I'm here for you 10 hours a week.
Yeah. And asking an agent how long they've had their license is probably not the right question, because, we have an agent that worked with us. He's had his license for a very short period of time. But the amount of experience he's done, I would hire him if I had to hire an agent. And I think the second question is how much experience do you have? How many transactions have you been part of as an agent? And I think one of the third questions is, what does your support look like? What happens when you're out of town and a new listing pops up and I want to go see it? Those are, to me, the three primary questions.
And this is going to sound bad, but you as a consumer, you need to understand what's in it for you, right? And it's okay to ask that question. It's okay to understand exactly where your $500,000 or $1 million is going, because you're dealing with a lot of money here, and so you need to be able to be confident that that person is if they're not directly equipped to deal with it, that they have a support team behind them. So like for us, we have transaction coordinators, we have operations people, we have Justin and his team, and the reason why we operate so well with Justin and his team is because he and his business acumen aligns with us. He realizes that he can get a hell of a lot more done with 2, 3, 4 heads working on a transaction than him trying to do it all by himself. So we're in the real estate business. And so it's important for you to understand that the person that you're working with is in the real estate business, not just the real estate sales, just having that one cap, because whether they like it or not, the person that you're hiring is an independent contractor. They own their real estate business. And if all they've got is one piece of the puzzle, maybe they're really good at sales, but if their organization is lacking, or if they don't have a grip on the financial elements and all the other different strategies that go along with whatever it is you're trying to accomplish, then you're dealing with a one-trick pony.
Yeah, and I would also say the advantage of our team is we are a team. We have 20-plus real estate wealth managers and agents on our team, and that's one of the benefits, and I get to explain, especially to our buyers. It doesn't matter where I'm at, doesn't matter where you're at, Ryan. If a house pops up on the market and you need to go see it ASAP, there is always someone who can open up that door for you. You and I will still always negotiate those contracts. But if you would like to learn more about our team and what we do, all you got to do is text the word agent to 623-AZ-RECON. That's agent to 623-AZ-RECON. Justin, you're on the lending side with Fairway Independent Mortgage. I'm sure that we could spend an hour listening to you to tell stories, but what is the difference when you are, doing the loan, and whether it's the buyer's agent that you're in communication with or it's the listing agent, the difference between an inexperienced agent, a part-time agent, as opposed to someone who's got a lot of experience and does this full-time?
Yeah, and I'm just going to add to what you guys were saying. I think a good question is not so many how many transactions have you done in your career, because we've seen agents that have had their license 30 years, but they do maybe a half a year on average. So how many transactions have you done in this market in the last year, maybe? Because I think that's important, because each market brings different strategies, and you guys are wonderful at adjusting and adapting to the market. But somebody who hasn't done a transaction in a while, we can see it on our side big time. Now, to your question, when we're working with somebody that's very inexperienced, maybe it's their first transaction compared to somebody that's been doing this a while, one, negotiation is it's out of this world different on what we're getting in as far as just the baseline contract. I have to, a lot of times with those newer agents, I have to kind of lead those transactions, and I have to kind of step out.
You're negotiating for them?
I mean, kind of. Sometimes actually, yeah. They actually ask me to make phone calls sometimes and do some negotiation. And you know what? I like to stay in my lane, but my lane also contains a client that I'm doing a service for. So I'm trying to help that client, and it's unfortunate sometimes when I do have to step into those transactions and make sure that things are going well for my client. But thank God they have me on their side. I couldn't imagine having a new loan officer and a new agent involved in a transaction and what that would contain and how that would go down.
I was coaching an agent once. This was years ago, and she was brand new, 3-4 months into the industry, and I'm coaching her, and she's talking about doing open houses and walking neighborhoods with her lender. And I said, well, great. How long has your lender been doing loans? And she said 6 months. And I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
so who's helping who?
Yeah.
I mean, anytime your lender has time to go out and door knock, and I hate to say it, because a lot of people want us to do open, but we really don't have time to do open houses. We're sitting on the weekends on the computers servicing your clients, so we're available to do what we do, and that's pre-qualify people, get your pre-qualification updated while you're out shopping, maybe give numbers to your clients while you're out at the house wanting to make an offer on the property. So we're sitting there at our computers typically. So yeah, I mean, when I first started, yeah, I did some door knocking. I handed out some flyers and stuff like that. But
dude, if you came knocking on my door, I'd be like, honey, don't answer the door.
Yeah.
Look at this. Yeah.
I think
He's going to be selling some horse services.
I think that it's also important that when you are interviewing an agent and you've made a decision, that you let them show their leadership. I see so often consumers, they say, okay, well, I have this agent, and a lot of times they think that agent or realtor or whatever isn't doing their job for them, that they feel that they should be doing, because they're trying to control the whole thing. If you truly have someone that you believe in, then you need to let them lead. You need to let them take control of the transaction. Ask questions. Understand what the process is. So if they're saying something that just doesn't sound right to you, say, hey, look, I need to understand why we're making this decision, and I need to know the ifs, ands, and whys behind it before I sign off on this document. And then when they give you that logical explanation, follow them. I see so many consumers just shooting themselves in the foot because they think that they know the process better than than the professional.
And I love the point that Justin brought up as far as the aspect of negotiations. I think that is a key question. I welcome the question from either a buyer or seller when they ask me, walk me through your process as a seller. How are you going to negotiate me getting the best price in the quickest amount of time? Or if I'm working with a buyer and the buyer asks me, walk me through the process on how you negotiate and get me the best deal on this house, whether it's through concessions, through price, or both. I think, and I can articulate to anyone my exact process, and I know you can too, Ryan, of how exactly we do it, and it blows people away.
And I think that so many people think that the negotiation process is one and done, and understand that it starts the moment that if you're a buyer, it starts the moment that you're getting in the car. As a seller, it starts the moment that you even have the idea of putting your home up for sale. Everything goes into it, and so there's all these details that are out there, and so having somebody that can thoroughly walk you through that process is going to be the person that you're going to want to work with the most. Now, if you're the type of person that just says, hey, look, I just need you to go over there and make decisions for me, then you need to front load those questions up front, making sure that those types of decisions that you're in line with.
All right, this is the Real Estate 401k show. Appreciate you joining us on this segment. If you'd like to learn more about our negotiating strategies and you'd like to have a conversation of how we specifically strategize to get you the best deal or learn more about our experience and our team, all you got to do is text the word agent to 623-AZ-RECON. That's agent to 623-AZ-RECON.
Thank you for joining us on the Real Estate 401k show. If you want more information on how to build wealth, click on the link or text us at 623-297-3266. That's 623-AZ-RECON.